Right. I want to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's Sister location. It came out recently, and I waited a little while for the initial excitement of it to cool down, and so that some people could actually see the game or play it for themselves before I talked about it. So this can't really be considered spoilers, because GT Live has done an entire playthrough of it in their live stream. That took a couple hours. I actually watched that live. It was fun, and I made a few comments. You might have seen me. Probably not though. The channel's going so fast. Anyway, Markiplier's done a playthrough of it, and he's gone more in depth with it, with a couple of Easter eggs. And I do believe Jacksepticeye has now started playing it as well. And I want to give you my thoughts on it. I love the Intercom Guy, the artificial AI in it. It's better than just like Phone Guy every time. We did get like a sample of this with Phone Dude in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So it's just really refreshing not having to hear Phone Guy. Although in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you did eventually just hear Phone Guy and not Phone Dude. I did like Phone Dude though. Yeah, and the atmosphere looks brilliant, and I love the whole thing where you have to climb under the desk to hide away from the animatronics. That was creative there. The atmosphere was perfect. The comedy was, it wasn't perfect, but it was really funny as well. The animatronics are, well, in game they are beautiful. They animate beautifully, and they can be very creepy. And the jump scares is where I start having problems. Now, so far everything's been perfect. It's been really creepy. Now you expect your first jump scare to come out of you from nowhere, and for you to basically wet yourself scared. These jump scares are not anywhere near as good as any other rendition of Five Nights at Freddy's. Especially not Five Nights at Freddy's 4. That can still scare me a bit. And the original Five Nights at Freddy's 1, well, not really scare me anymore. It can make me jump from time to time. This didn't even scare me. The first never scared me at all. The jump scares are too slow. Anybody who has kept up with Five Nights at Freddy's for this long has seen the other jump scares, and we're more used to faster jump scares. So when these slower jump scares come in, our brains basically get just like, oh, here comes a jump scare, and it's not fast enough to keep us on our toes. And here's the thing: they remind me a lot of Springtrap's jump scares in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, where it's just as scary as me going, bleh! It's just as scary as that. And the reason why Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is still scary is because I had the Phantom animatronics, which were I'd have to say they're scarier than Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but not Five Nights at Freddy's 4 scary. And apart from Sister location, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is the least scary, in my opinion. Yeah, but I'm not saying that this couldn't be scary, with these animatronics. If, like, the panels on their bodies were, glitchy and, freaking out a bit, then that would, make you that might make you double guess yourself. Like, these animatronics obviously aren't in the proper working order. They might malfunction and kill me even though I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. That's keeping the player double guessing themselves. Yeah, and and speed the jump scares a bit. That'd be cool. that would make, because the entire screen goes black for a second and then you get the jump scare. Within that second, your brain has already prepared yourself for the jump scare, especially if you play the other Five Nights at Freddy's games. So they're just too slow to jump scare anybody who has actually played a Five Nights at Freddy's game or even watched one. Especially Five Nights at Freddy's 4 if you've watched it. That definitely watching Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is a lot scarier than playing it. Because you don't know what, you don't know when the person you're watching is gonna click and turn on a light and possibly get jump scared. Anyway, and so make the jump scares a bit faster. And here's a cool idea. Do what Joy of Creation Reborn did and have them physically assault you. You just say and then quickly you just like fall into the ground and you don't know what and then the player it doesn't know what's happening and then you just see Toy Freddy come up and smash your face in. That would have made the game a lot more scary. And I don't want to, and I don't want to say this, but I don't get how anybody could be scared of these jump scares. Even not even especially like GT Live and Markiplier. They've played the rest of the other FNAF games. How are they still, they're with lots of scary animatronics? I don't get how they can be scared by this at this point. And what else? I was gonna say something, but it went out of my mind. Oh yeah, and here's something else I don't want to say, and this is probably one of the few times you will really hear me say this, but Scott, the game creator, should have stuck to the formula. And it pains me to say this because that's stifling creativity, which I despise and loathe. But when you've got something like Five Nights at Freddy's, there's not really much you can't really make it much scary. I know, for people that can be scared by jump scares. I know that there are people that can't be scared by jump scares, but it's just it's just like how do I put this? I wouldn't mind if he changed the formula up a bit, but he changed it up in the wrong ways, and that was detrimental to the game and just the scariness of the game as a whole. PewDiePie said that was saying that Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was not scary. I can see where he's coming from if you're just playing it, but if you're watching it, like I said, it can be a lot more scary. But yeah, I still do disagree with him that Five Nights at Freddy's 3 cannot be scary. 4, sorry. But Sister Location is definitely one I can say is not scary. It just isn't, and it just introduced these things like crawling under the desk. That was such a cool idea to hide away from the animatronics, but that was introduced and then forgotten about for 5 seconds later till the next, and it only appeared for one time in the next night when you optionally went under there to hear an Easter egg that only gave a tidbit to what you might have to do later on in the game. And it's just like, that was a good idea, but he never used it. In my opinion, what he should have done is made Sister Location a bit more like the other FNAFs, and have you checking on below Foxy, making sure they don't get in your room, and then and everybody making sure none of the fun time animatronics got into your room, and then say have a chance like every so often in the game the power could go out, so you'd have to sneak through below a gallery without it catching you to restart the power, and that's where the fun time Freddy could kill you. If he did that, then that would have added a lot more tension and would have made this game a lot scary. But as it is right now, it is far from scary, let alone the scariest FNAF game ever. I'm sorry for all you who like it, and I just can't say it's scary at all. And I'm gonna go hide from the flame war that is about to start in the comments. Bye bye.